Welcome to Sofa. Today we're talking about how to be effortlessly charming. Now, this takes practice, okay? If you want to get effortless at anything, it's going to take some time and some practice. But today I wanted to really break everything down for you guys so you know some of the traits that charming people may have. These are some of the things that I have learned, and these are also some of the things that I'm still learning. So, bear with me. We're all learning together. None of us are perfect. So to be effortlessly charming, you can't be afraid to take up space, okay? If you're walking around shrugged up like this, closed off like this doesn't make you charming. It makes you look very unapproachable and shy. This is not a characteristic of a charming person. A charming person has great posture, okay? A charming person has their shoulders out. They're not hiding away. They're not scrouching in or, scrouching down. They are wide open, okay? They are not afraid to take up space in the room. They're not trying to hide away. Think about like walking into a room full of people that you don't know, right? Let's say like you're going to a party and some of your friends are there, but there's many other people that you don't know. When you walk into that room, when you walk into that house, what do you do? Do you do this and avoid eye contact with everybody and just kind of go and try to find your friends without, really talking to anybody else and avoiding eye contact with everybody else? Or do you stand tall, you look around, and you make eye contact with people? That makes all the difference. You guys, trust me, it's all about your energy and your presence. Now with making eye contact, I want to talk about smiling. And this is something that I have struggled with for the longest time. I'm getting better with it now, but I'm still working on it. But smiling at people, okay? Nobody knows what's going on in here with you. What people do see is what's going on out here. So put on a smile, okay? And I'm not talking about walking around like a psychopath being like at people, because that's weird and creepy. Please don't do that. I'm talking about walking around and smiling genuinely, like a warm, genuine smile. And if you have to, think of a moment that made you really happy. Think of somebody that makes you really happy. Think of something funny, something that will make you laugh. When you think of this, your smile will come on. And again, you don't want to force a smile. You want it to be like a genuine, warm, like smile. Also, don't make it look fake, because that's really easy to do. Don't be like at people. That's really weird. Don't do that. When you are in this fake fictional room that I just made up at a party, do you talk to people? Are you willing to talk to people? This goes into my next point, which is being interested in everybody, okay? Charming people don't just hang around people they like, right? They're not super like selective of like, oh, I like this person and I hate this person, so I'm gonna avoid this person and I'm only gonna hang out with this person. Now, I'm not saying that you should be around people you hate. If you genuinely dislike somebody and you dislike being in their presence, then don't be in their presence. I'm talking about people that you don't know, strangers. Get to know them. These are people that you don't know. So are you easy to talk to? Are you approachable? Do you strike up a conversation with people? Are you willing? Are you open to talk to all these people? This is what charming people do. They try to get to know everybody. They are interested in everybody around them. And once they are interested in everybody around them, in turn, those people become interested in them. And that's what makes you seem charming, because people feel liked by you. People are like, oh my God, somehow I feel important around this person. Next is being vulnerable, and this is something that I have struggled with for the longest time. It wasn't until recently when I started to really implement this, but being vulnerable, being honest about how you feel. If you're a robot and you have no emotions, no one's gonna want to talk to you and no one's gonna trust you. This kind of reminds me of people who don't really talk about themselves. For me, it's a red flag when a person doesn't really talk about themselves or their life, or they're not able to be vulnerable around me, because that signifies to me that they don't trust me, and in turn I don't trust them. But when you're able to be a human being with real emotions and be vulnerable about things, people know that you're genuine. People like genuine people. People like somebody who is true, who is real, who doesn't lie. It's okay to go through negative experiences, and it's a good thing to express how you feel. With this, I want you to be careful and not be too negative. If you're too negative about everything all the time, people are going to get really sick and tired of you really, really fast. People are not going to want to talk to you or be around you. And what I found in my personal experience is if you are going to be negative about something, make it funny, make it like a lighthearted thing, make it a joke, right? Like you're still being serious and people will know that you're being serious, but at the same time, you're making it funny, you're making it a joke, you're making it a fun energy. Being emotionally expressive is really important, and you want to make sure that you actually express your emotions through your face. There's a couple of people that I have met that just talk like this. There's no emotion. It's just all bluntness, and they talk like this. It's really scary, and it's really not satisfying to talk to someone like this, because this is really weird. You want to make sure that your face moves with your emotions. So whatever you're talking about, express it on your face, okay? And this is really easy to learn if you watch a lot of like TV. So watch actors. When you learn about acting, you have to learn how to express what you're feeling with your face. Like, for example, you watch stand-up comedy. A lot of stand-up comedy is actually like a body language thing. A lot of it's like a face thing. So if you were to turn off the volume off the stand-up comedy, you can still kind of tell what the person is expressing without hearing what they're actually saying based on their facial features and their entire body language. Nobody likes a robot. I have to say this time and time again. Nobody likes an emotionless robot. Nobody likes this. Also use creative language, okay? Don't just be boring with your speech. Come up with interesting ways to make your speech interesting. For me, it's easiest to just be funny or crack a little joke or be sarcastic. I think that's honestly the easiest way to go about this. Next, you want to be socially aware. Guys, this is a hard one. This is where you really have to spend time watching people. You have to spend time around people to really read them and understand them without necessarily asking them how they feel. If you're having a conversation with somebody, watch how they act. Watch how they speak. Usually a person's emotions is right on their face, so you can tell how they feel based off of looking at them. However, if you can't tell, it's always good to ask. Be like, hey, how are you? What's wrong? Is everything okay? Usually when somebody's upset, you see it on their face, right? They don't really hide it. So you could always come up to someone and be like, hey, are you okay? Is everything okay? People will really appreciate you doing this because you're checking in on them and you care about them. You care about how they feel. And like I said, going back to the conversations, this is also really important because you want to make sure that the conversation is bouncing back and forth effortlessly. No one feels like you're talking too much. No one feels like you're overbearing and, conquering the conversation. Which brings me to my next point. Ask questions. I know I've talked about this in the past, but ask people questions about themselves. Don't take over the conversation. Don't be talking for 45 minutes about your life, your problems, your kids, your family, your friends, your work, your job, blah, blah, blah. Learn to have people take over the conversation, right? I'm not saying to just let someone talk for an hour straight without you saying a word, right? But you need to understand the dynamic. So let a person talk and be interested, be genuinely curious in what they're saying. Ask them questions about their life and remember those small details about their life. I find to be personally more attracted to people who remember small details about me, like stuff like stupid stuff, like my favorite drink, my favorite type of tea, stuff like that. It's dumb, but when somebody remembers that, I feel more seen. I feel more validated in the way. I'm like, oh, I feel important. They memorized this small piece of information about me. Avoid judging other people. You guys, this is especially true when somebody is coming to you for advice and you shut someone down or you make them feel a certain type of way. I've had this happen to me where I have gone to people for advice and they just made me feel so stupid. They made me feel so unseen, unheard. When somebody is coming to you with a problem or with a situation, avoid judgment because what they're really looking for is comfort. They are coming to you from one human being to another. They are coming to you hopefully so you could validate how they feel. And you don't even need to necessarily agree with how they feel or what they're saying or their actions or their words or blah, 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 whatever, right? You don't need to agree, but validate them. Because when a person comes to you, they're just looking for comfort and they know that you're also a human being who has gone through negative experiences and who is also flawed. So they are hoping that somebody will hear them and understand them. So be that person. Avoid judgment at all costs. Really listen to what this person is telling you and put yourself in their shoes. How would you feel? Really try to empathize with people. Empathy is everything in these situations. You want to make sure people feel comfortable around you. You don't want to scare people away. You don't want to be acting all high and mighty like you're better than them, right? I've had that happen where I confided in somebody or I've said something about my life that's personal and the person just acted like they're better than me. That's not attractive. No one's ever going to want to talk to you. No one's ever going to want to tell you anything personal about themselves. No, I already kind of said this, but if there's a negative situation, there's a negative circumstance, try your best not to get defensive. Don't let that be your go-to thing. Don't let that be your go-to emotion. Try to be witty about it. Try to make a joke. Try to be lighthearted, right? You could be a little sarcastic, throw a little sass in there, right? But don't get defensive with people unless like the situation really calls for you getting defensive and snapping back at someone because they're literally disrespecting the hell out of you. Unless it's a situation like that, you don't have to get defensive all the time. I've learned that most people are not deliberately trying to be assholes. They're just telling you what they think. So as a charming person, you have to be able to take criticism and brush it off. Or if it's constructive criticism, you should use it to your advantage, because you can always improve. Charming people know that they can always improve. They can always be better. They don't act like they know it all. Be humble in conversations. Don't go around bragging. Period. It doesn't matter like what's going on in your life. Like, you can absolutely share something that's going on in your life that's so wonderful. Don't be going around bragging about stuff, like purposely like going around being like, oh my god, so let me tell you about my new Birkin bag. It's not attractive. Nobody likes that. Whatever you're passionate about, be passionate about it, and don't be scared of judgment from other people. Whatever it is that you're passionate about, whether it be, a certain hobby or a certain fashion look or a certain makeup look, if you're passionate about something, be passionate about it. Don't doubt yourself. Don't be like, oh, I'm stupid for thinking this way. No, own it. You think a certain way, own it. Charming people are confident and they truly believe in what they think and feel. That doesn't mean that your mind can't be changed, right? But it just means that you're strong and passionate and confident about things. People like passionate people. Again, going back to the robot concept, don't be a robot. Don't react mindlessly to things. Really assess the situation, especially if it's a negative one, and learn when to turn the charm on and off. Okay, charming people aren't always charming. They know how to control this. In some situations, you're gonna have to downplay certain emotions, like I said, especially if it's like a negative situation. Sometimes you may feel really stressed out on the inside and nervous, but you have to put a smile on your face and keep calm. Many people are really good at regulating their emotions, at controlling their emotions, so even though they might feel one way on the inside, on the outside they're portraying something different. This is really important because if you're stressed out and, for example, you're in a leadership role at work, when you're stressed out, you're stressing everybody else out, okay? Especially if it's so obvious that you're stressed out, you're just going to stress everyone around you. You don't want that. Now, this one kind of ties in with the last thing that I said, but learn how to act. Some people may view this as like, oh, you're not being your genuine self. I really don't believe that. I think you have to learn how to be in certain situations. So for example, you might be a certain way at home, but once you get to work mode is on and you're a completely different way. So you have to portray a certain version of you in certain places in front of certain people. You have to think about what your objective is, what your goal is. If you're trying to impress somebody or if you're trying to look a certain way in front of somebody, charming people, they know how to regulate that. And some people might say that this is fake. Okay, I completely disagree with that. I think you're still being genuine. You're still being who you are. You're just picking and choosing how to act in certain situations. It's like, for example, like you don't talk to your mother the same way that you talk to your friend, right? Like you use completely different speech. You talk about completely different things. And this is the same exact concept. You guys, I hope this video was helpful for you. Thanks so much for coming to my channel. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.